is what we all worked so hard to get to, and now we're finally here, right? And I'm leaning on the side of him saying, like, I wouldn't change anything because I gave everything I had, right? You seen me go out with an injury, but you know that I played through something to be here, right? Just set an example for the players to come, right? Just, you know, you're at the mountaintop. You have to give everything you got, and sometimes it doesn't fall in your way, but, you know, you did what you could to get there, and that's the type of feeling that you want to have out of a player, right? And like I said, Tyrese, he gave everything he had, and, you know, as a player, that's all we really can do.
I'm going to get the football guys in on this conversation later this morning as well. I just think it's such an interesting moment of psychology there. Having said that, let's put the ESPN bet odds up, okay? At 838, Indiana was the second favorite last week to win next year's championship, behind only OKC. Now, with all of these injuries, look at where things have tumbled. Look at the Cavaliers. This is the Eastern Conference. It's Cleveland, followed by the Knicks, followed by Orlando. Don't overlook Philadelphia, who's suddenly a team that's never healthy, feels like it's one of the healthier teams in the group. Windman, what are we looking at in the Eastern Conference right now?
Okay, well, a few things here. Cleveland is headed for the second apron starting next week. They have a couple of role-playing free agents, including Ty Jerome. I'm not sure they're going to be able to keep, okay? So they may take a little bit of a step back on their overall depth. The Knicks, however, because of Jalen Brunson and his willingness to take less than he absolutely could have taken, are below the apron and are actually in position, after they hire a head coach, that they could actually add to their roster a little bit. I'm not saying that they would make a major move, but the Knicks are in position to maybe marginally improve their roster and improve their depth, whereas the Cavs, I think, are in danger of taking a bit of a hit. So we may recalculate that in another 7 to 10 days, and you may have the Knicks at the top. It's amazing. The top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference when the playoffs started, the last team standing right now is the New York Knicks because they haven't done anything. They're just healthy here. And when you look at Cleveland, the Darius Garland injury, he's going to be out an extended period of time. Can they sign Ty Jerome? I don't even know if I would put Philadelphia. I don't trust the Sixers at all as far as what's going to happen with Joel Embiid. And Orlando, as great as the move they made, we don't know anything about them. They haven't been able to get past the first round. So for right now, yes, of course, they got to hire the coach. That's the most important thing. But they've got their top 7 players all in their contract for next year. All right, so hold that thought there. We'll get back with more basketball as we continue. But I want to give you a wake-up call this morning because there's a player you're not paying enough attention to. He is Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh. He is on the heater of all heaters. Here's how his 32nd home run of the year sounded last night.
Well, there goes number 32. Cal Raleigh annihilates another one. He has homered in 4 consecutive games for the first time in his big league career. An exclamation mark on a monster night for the Mariners.
In case you're not paying attention to this, Cal Raleigh is now on pace to break Barry Bonds' 2001 record for most home runs before the All-Star break. Bonds hit 39 that year, finished the year with a record 73. Raleigh is on pace to hit 40 before the break. He is on pace to finish the year with 67. So this bears watching as the season continues through June and into July and probably beyond. As we continue, the KD deal done. Did it move the needle of this generation's big 3? Does he have the best chance to win it all? Plus, our NFL crew is here. Do we have wheeling and dealing to do? And could it actually derail money? And that's our Bobby Marks. Wendy had told us yesterday, or actually last week, you said the thing to start watching is, does Boston start selling off pieces? This obviously is the beginning of that.
Yeah, the most important thing to know is where they were with the second apron. And the second apron is a punitive restriction, the inability to make trades. They were roughly $22 million over the second apron. Chip away, chip away, chip away. This gets them to $18 million in the Drew Holiday trade. You get back an expiring contract in Anthony Simons. You shed the $72 million owed to Holiday in years 3 and 4. And now it puts you in position, whether it be a Kristaps Porzingis potential trade on an expiring contract or another move to basically shed that salary. We're looking potentially at Boston saving potentially $200 million when we get through the next few weeks here. So it's a significant move for the Celtics. It's certainly a significant move for the Trailblazers as far as how both teams were able to get a deal done.
And under new ownership in Boston as well. Go ahead, Wendy.
We've got this fascinating thing happening in the NBA right now where these Western Conference teams are clawing each other's eyes out, trying to get to 8th or 9th or 10th place. This is a move that takes on $100 million for the Blazers, trying to see if they can get to 10th. And in the Eastern Conference, you have really good teams that are dealing with the fallout of this Achilles tendon problem, who are trying to rip off pieces because they realize that they can't be so expensive if they're not going to be real contenders next year. We've already seen a couple of deals that look like this. Keep a very close eye on Boston in the next few days, and Indiana and Milwaukee, teams that are dealing with these Achilles tendon problems.
Let's live in Boston for a minute. They've traded off Holiday. I'm thinking of three names. I'm thinking of Kristaps Porzingis. I'm thinking of Derek White. And dare I say, I'm thinking of Jaylen Brown. Could we see anything with those three guys?
Porzingis, I definitely think that they are in discussions with. And again, you can't just trade him off. It would be trading him for a player probably who makes less money. That's what this was. Anthony Simons kind of fits what Boston does. He's a three-point specialist. They would need someone to sort of be a big man, starting level big man for Porzingis if they made this deal, or at least at the end of it. But look for a Porzingis thing. As for the other two-star players, I don't think Derek White and Jaylen Brown are players that they want to put up. Having said that, if somebody calls with a gigantic offer, I think that they would have to discuss it. I think they'd be looking at their other supporting players, maybe like a Sam Hauser, that they would be looking to do. But as Bobby described, they probably are going to have to make multiple more moves to save this money that they need to save.
I get it. And the money is interesting and it's important, but from the fans' perspective, it's the names that we're talking about here. So, Markeith, what do you think? They're going to be without, we would assume, like, these are all assumptions we're making, but I think they're reasonable. They're going to play a year without Jason Tatum, right? That's just what they're looking at here. But then they're going to get him back, and they're going to want to be right back in the middle of the championship conversation. So it's a, you know, kind of a complicated little line to walk here, Markeith. Would you, if you were the Celtics, consider going full rebuild and trading Jaylen Brown?
I would not, Greeny. I would take my time with this thing, right? I would start off with the contract shedding to try to get under the salary cap and the tax, because we've been living over the tax the last couple of years. And then I would get some complementary pieces that I would think that I would give out a chance to try to fit around Jaylen Brown, right? Because this year for Jaylen Brown will be the coming out year, the year that shows that he's a true #1 option in this league, right? If you ask me, he might just, you know, be in running for most improved. He might just be in running for MVP with the range he will have and being able to lead a team for the first time in his career, right? But no, I wouldn't shed the team. I would get a couple pieces, put around him. I think this Anthony Simons piece is a real big deal, because, you know, he's a great scorer in the West, so he's going to be able to come to a team that's all about winning now, because he's been a part of a team that lost so much. So he's going to find, you know, how he truly is as a professional, and can he help this team actually win? And it's all predicated based on what's going to happen the following year. So if he fits this team this year, then he'll be a big piece the following year to come when Jason Tatum is back.
The Jaylen Brown of it is interesting to me. I go back to the 90s when Michael Jordan retired the first time. The world wrote off the Bulls. Well, that's it, they're done. The 93-94 season, I will go to my grave saying Scottie Pippen should have been the MVP of the league that year. I still can't believe he didn't win MVP that year. They had a terrific season. They took the Knicks 7 heartbreaking games, a controversial call, all that stuff. Scottie Pippen really demonstrated he was more than just the Robin to Michael's Batman. It'll be interesting to see what Jaylen Brown's season is like without Tatum.
This is the new reality in the NBA. Is Jaylen Brown an excellent player? Yes, absolutely. Is he a $300 million player? That's where you get into some things. And so when you look at Jaylen Brown, a player who's just had knee surgery, they think he's going to be back and be fine, who makes $300 million. I'm not sure the value is there for the Celtics, even if they wanted to trade him. So